I love this picture. So, just quickly, the Regional Council is responsible for air quality, as Philippa said. We're working towards one of our community outcomes called Healthy Environment, which is hoping to achieve fresh air and minimal pollution. Now, we do have a lot of fresh air in Wellington, but we do have some pockets of air pollution, which I'll talk about. Underpinning our work, we have 5 monitoring stations throughout the region where we've been monitoring some key air quality indicators, PM10, PM2.5, nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide. I'm going to briefly talk about some findings from Masterton, which is in the red dot, and NIWA in the yellow dot, and Wellington City in the maroon dot down the bottom. So moving on to Masterton, this is a rural town in the Wairarapa, about 20,000 people, and as you can see from that photo, domestic fires is the main source of air pollution, and unfortunately it fails to meet the national standard for PM10 and also the fine particulate standard of 2.5. And Regional Council is required to reduce these emissions to reduce people's risk of exposure to air pollution. And by 2020 we have to get the number of high air pollution nights down to 1 per year. Currently it's about 14. But the unfortunate thing is that Masterton has a high reliance on wood burning. There's a lot of self-collected wood there and electricity prices are quite high, so we don't want to cause hardship by banning wood burners. So we're looking at other approaches. We're taking some learnings from Environment Canterbury, which is doing a lot of work on behaviour change. They're quite convinced that you can teach people how to use a wood burner to really reduce their emissions. So we're watching their work with interest. And so, but the thing is, even if you get the air pollution down to meeting the national standard, there are still other air toxics which may be part of that wood smoke which can be exceeding that standard. And an example of that is arsenic. And we've been monitoring arsenic in Wainuiomata. It's just been a 2-year campaign. And as you can see from that graph there, you've got the 2 winter periods nicely standing out with quite elevated levels of arsenic. And the source of this arsenic is a minority of people burning CCA, copper chrome arsenic treated timber. And so this is another challenge to manage because you can't just say no, you can't burn treated timber. You've really got to understand the drivers and the social reasons behind this activity. So that's another thing that we've been working on as well. And it's not just Wainuiomata, this is all throughout New Zealand. Moving quickly along to inner city Wellington, we have a monitoring station on the corner of Victoria and Vivian Street, known as Corner V, and that's a steel sort of cylinder can. But unfortunately, we're going to have to move our station. It's shown with the yellow drawing pin there, because it's really great. Wellington City Council is making a tree-lined boulevard there, which is going to be very nice for inner city living. But unfortunately, our monitoring station there has to move, and this comes to one of the other problems of monitoring is trying to get a trend record out of that, because we're going to move to a new location, which is obviously it's more open, but it's in the lee of a building. And where that car park is going to be a huge apartment complex there, so we're going to have some changes. It's quite a dynamic environment there. We've also had the inner city bypass come through as well, and so that's changed the traffic configuration. We can see that in our monitoring record as well. So I just thought I'd better put a graph up. This is nitrogen dioxide measurements at our Corner B station. And it's just really interesting because you can very clearly see the impact of commuter rush hour traffic with the peaks there, the morning peak and the evening peak, and then levelling off during the weekend. Actually, it's more than 20,000 vehicles. That's just one direction. The other direction is about 11 and a half. So even though you've got the similar number of vehicles on the weekdays and weekend, they're just more spread out during the weekend, so that you can see that influence as well. So as was alluded to before, we're also becoming more interested now in looking at the finer scale personal exposure. We've got these 5 fixed stations, but they don't necessarily represent what people are exposed to. they're sort of good for tracking trends at that particular site and that particular state of the environment. So we're looking at more working with people like NIWA and hoping to get some advice off Ulrich about how to actually get a finer scale of information. And we're also very keen to do more engagement with mana whenua values and with community values to find out what people really want to know about air quality. And one of the things we're looking at doing when we move the station in our central Wellington city is including some sort of real-time display so people can actually, pedestrians and drivers can get a feel for what the air quality is actually at that moment in time when they're passing. We're also thinking about doing noise as well to get a full integrated effect. So, thank you very much.